Hi, everyone, and warm welcome to this new episode of Finotive Funding interview series. And today we have Martin from the UK. Hello, Martin.
Hi, Mohammed.
So, in the world of trading, every trader's journey is unique and shaped by their background and experiences as well. So, tell us, who is Martin? Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into trading?
Okay, so my name is Martin from the northwest of England. I've been trading around about 12 years now.
Awesome.
I'm into lots of things, not just trading. I love golf,
Hmm.
furniture making, DJing.
Very
And it
nice.
was actually when I was traveling around DJing that I got into trading.
Hmm.
So around about 12 years ago, I was working as a DJ in Greece. And I was just trying to figure out how to earn like a secondary income alongside the DJing because, a lot of the times it's just playing in clubs at the weekends.
Yeah,
It wasn't like amazing money. So I
yeah.
thought, how could I still travel around, do what I love, but earn some money on the side? And that's where trading came in.
Very nice. And how could you balance your trading career with other aspects of your life? As you were saying, you were interested in golf, doing DJing. How was
Yeah,
it?
it can be very difficult because obviously the forex markets are open 24 hours a day,
Yeah,
which sometimes is an advantage. If you're working a 9 to 5 job, you don't always have to trade between the hours of 9 and 5. You could trade the Asian session,
yeah,
which is in the evening. So yeah, I think you've just got to pick your times to trade. Really, I
yeah.
think that's the best way that's worked for me. Certain
Speaking of
times of
sessions, do you have any preferred session that you trade in?
the day. It all depends on news. So obviously, there's a lot of data that comes out in a day,
Mm-hmm.
and we really only pay interest to the red flag data, which is like the big market moving data.
Yeah,
So yeah, you just got to pick your times really to trade,
yeah, yeah.
and just figure out what works best for you.
We'll be speaking later in the interview about do you trade in volatile markets, so let's keep it for later then in the interview.
Yeah,
All right. So, I mean, speaking of, let's go back to what you said, like that you just were fascinated about how people can get quick money in the world of DJing and other stuff that you were doing in parallel as well with trading. So many traders have a defining moment or event that drew them into the world of trading. And as you said,
yeah,
that was it for you. So these early experiences often shape the strategies and attitudes that define their careers, right? And
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
so what initially sparked your interest in trading, and how did you take your first step into the field?
Well, funnily enough, like as a kid, I've always actually been interested in financial markets.
Okay.
I remember telling my mum to buy some shares in Sky Television when that first
Wow.
came out. It was quite a popular thing that was coming out at the time,
Yeah.
and yeah, just reading the newspapers of share prices. But it wasn't until, like I say, a long time later that I actually got into trading.
Okay.
And just, I think it was like a YouTube video I just saw about trading and how you can make quick money.
Mm-hmm.
But I later discovered that it isn't a get rich quick scheme at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
You need a lot of patience and yeah, a lot of time to learn
Yeah.
this. It's a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
difficult thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree 100%. And can you share some of the probably early challenges you faced and how you overcome them?
Yeah, so I initially started with just a couple of £100 in a personal trading account.
Okay.
But what I found was I would put maybe a couple of £100 in, I would do well one week, do bad one week,
Yeah.
and the progress was so slow. When you've just got like, say, £500 in a trading
Yeah.
account, you make 10%, it's amazing, but you've made £50.
Yeah.
It's very, very slow
Yeah.
progress. And
Slow but steady,
yeah,
I believe.
yeah. I mean, I saw what I used to do was I used to see the stock market going up and think, okay, it's gone too high, it's going to crash. I was just constantly trying to short and losing and losing and losing.
Yeah.
And it just totally changed my strategy now. It's a buy only strategy. I
Okay.
don't sell at all.
Oh.
Maybe 99% of the time, it's just buy only strategy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very different from maybe what a lot of people do, but
Mhm.
I'm just trying to simplify things for myself.
I mean, that's the easiest way, no? Just if you try to simplify stuff for yourself, just
Yeah,
just the quickest shortcut for it. Yeah, definitely,
yes, stick to a few pairs and just
definitely.
keep it very, very simple.
Yeah, agree. Um, Let me ask you a different question, probably. Like, who or what were like your biggest influences when you just started trading?
Um, yeah, I mean, I more looked for information rather than a particular person. I
Okay.
think the problem with gurus is that you can sort of follow what they're doing
Yeah.
and just do like their strategy, take their advice. And the problem is you're not learning yourself. You may be just learning what they're teaching you.
Okay.
So like when you first start, there's just so much information out there. It's so difficult to like wade through what's good, what's bad.
Okay.
So I found for me, just finding my own information in the markets was the best way.
Yeah.
My own trial and error, you know, and my own losing was
Yeah.
what taught
Yeah.
me to try and get over that and win.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no real particular person was a guru.
I mean, not necessarily can be a person. It can be also like a fact or an action. For example, I've talked to a lot of people. The lifestyle is the main influence. That
yeah,
that was on their trading career. That, like they just saw the lifestyle that traders and successful traders have, and that they just like kicked in and they started trading. So that also was a factor that influenced their, start of a trading career.
yeah, I understand that. And I think a lot of people, the problem with that is a lot of people get sucked into that get rich quick mentality. They see the Lambos on YouTube and the nice houses and people posting videos they've made like $5,000 in a few minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's quite like false, really. It's not like that with real trading. It takes a long time to get good at it.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
A lot of trial and error. And even when you think you've got it, and I'll talk about this in a minute, even when you think you've made it or you're doing well, it'll humble you in 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the market will humble you in a second.
Oh, yes.
100%. Yeah. So we got to know who is Martin, and we got to know how Martin started trading. Now the next step when you just discover trading is choose the right broker and the right platform to trade with. So choosing the right broker is a critical decision, as we all know, for any trader, including ourselves. And each broker offers different tools and platforms and support that can significantly impact trading performances, right? So the first time when you just started and you chose Finotive Funding to be your broker, what were the main factors you considered when choosing us as your broker?
Okay, so I tried another company first. Probably everyone's heard of FTMO, but I found their challenges was very limited on what they offer.
Yeah.
Finotive offer multiple accounts like instant funding, 1-step, 2-step, and then they brought on the pro accounts with like a higher profit split. So I found like the adaptability of the accounts, the very different accounts. Yeah, and they've always been really fair with me as well, Finotive, you know. If I've say broke something, they've emailed me. If I've broken a rule, they've emailed me and told me, and you know, I've done better next time. So I think they're a very fair company, and the customer service is great. So
that's awesome to hear. That's awesome to hear. Yeah. And how does Finotive Funding cater to your trading style and needs, especially?
Well, they've got a very good dashboard, and you can sort of see how many trades you've done, your win percentages. They've got a chart with your drawdown and your profit scaling. I think the dashboard is probably the best on the market. So it's
Shout out to our IT team and technology team. Okay, so you said that you've had some couple of experiences with other prop firms before you jumped into Finotive Funding and tried.
Yeah.
How do they compare to Finotive Funding, just from a trader point of view?
I think the problem with a lot of prop firms is people's trust in them. You know, obviously we heard about companies like My Forex Funds and some other ones that they come along and then they go. But I think Finotive have been around a while now, and they're a very stable company.
Yes.
So I think that's very important when picking a prop firm that you want. You want to be able to trust them, don't you? So
let's talk a little bit about your choice when it comes to accounts. I've seen that you go mainly for 1-step challenge accounts. That's your go-to when it comes to accounts. And I just wanted to ask why exactly the 1-step. You said that like you also like the fact that we have instant funding, 2-step challenges, pro accounts as well. So why especially the 1-step?
I think the 1-step is because you've got a certain profit target of 10%, and then you've passed. It does have tighter drawdown, but I think for more experienced trader, like the drawdown isn't really too much of an issue.
Yeah,
you just need the lower target. So I think the 1-step for me is like the best sort of challenge account I can do, just because of the lower sort of target, really.
Okay. And have you tried instant funding and the pro account yet?
Yeah, I did try instant funding. It's got a bit of a lower payout percentage, which is, you know, it's okay if you want to just get straight ahead and start trading and don't have to pass a challenge. But I think for me, because I'm a more experienced trader, I can make 10%. I don't need to rush. I can just
Yeah, I mean, how
make
great can it be with the instant funding that you buy the account, you trade, you got the payouts, and since the first payout is on the mat, you can get paid in the same
It's
day.
amazing, yeah, and it's
How
something that not
great
a
that
lot of
is!
companies do.
Yeah,
So instant funding is a great like scheme just to get started straight away.
yeah.
Uh, but
Okay,
yeah, I think one step for me really, I think is the best
all
sort of.
right, it sounds awesome. I probably asked you this question previously, but let's just put another context to it. So the global financial markets operate around the clock, right? And
Yeah,
with different sessions offering, unique opportunities and challenges, especially what we're experiencing today. A trader's preference for a particular session can reveal, a lot of, about their strategy and approach, right?
mm.
And so, which trading session do you prefer and why? And also, do you adjust your trading approach based on the session you're trading in?
Yeah. So I think I talked about this before. It's
Yeah.
all sort of news dependent. So if I think some big news is coming out in the afternoon in the US session, I
Mm-hmm.
won't trade it all in the morning.
Okay.
I'm very strict on that, and I won't have a position open before any news event or trade like around the news.
Okay. So we don't trade around news. All right.
Don't trade around the news. I'll
Yeah.
always wait until the data comes out, and that's sort of part of my strategy. So say I'm looking for a sell off and then a quick reversal.
Okay.
I'll wait for the data to come out. It'll sell off. I'll see like my confirmation of like say a pin bar or something like that, liquidity sweep, and then I'll get into the position.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sometimes trade the morning sessions, but I'm quite busy as well with the mornings with work and other things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
afternoon it kind of quietens down, and so we can see where the day sort of unfolds by the afternoon.
Yeah.
You can get quite a lot of sort of fake moves in the morning. It can rally up and then just sell off again, or the other way,
Yeah.
sell off and rally up. So
Uh-huh.
I think the afternoon is probably the best sort of time to trade for me.
Nice. All right. And do you adjust your trading strategies or approaches?
Just have the same one,
The same
really.
one. Yeah.
Most of the time, it's just waiting for a sell off,
Mm-hmm.
liquidity sweep, taking off previous structure, looking for some confirmation bias, pin bar, green, big pin bars. The longer the pin bar, the
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Keep the risk very small, very, very small. Like if things don't work out for me straight away, I just cut the trade.
All right.
This comes from when I first started trading, when I was trying to short the stock market. I
Yeah.
was lifting my stop loss,
Yeah.
and it would just get wider and wider and wider, and I just blow the account.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is not the way to do it. So I
Yeah.
keep the risk very, very small. Sometimes 0.1, 0.2% of the account. So very, very small risk.
Yeah.
But I could take multiple losses, but I don't mind that
Yeah.
because I'm waiting for that one big move that will wipe all them out.
Yeah, with the stop loss thing, I think to be honest, when it comes to trading, you can't learn unless you make the mistake itself, and you know the
Yeah.
consequences, and then you actually stop doing it, and you just go back to what you were doing before.
And I think a lot of people can't take the losses. It's very hard to lose anything in life. And when
Definitely,
you're
yeah,
losing, it's very hard. So we'll probably talk about the psychology of
definitely,
trading, because it's hard to come back from things when things are not going well.
yeah,
And when things are going well, everything's great, it's working out. But
hmm
you really learn about yourself when you actually fail and things are going bad.
exactly, agreed, 100% indeed, yeah, yeah. So I mean, speaking of Martin, 12 years of trading, how
Yeah.
consistent that is. Definitely, 12 years is awesome, and consistency is key to long-term success. And I mean, even the best traders face periods of like drawdown and inconsistency sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and making their strategies for like maintaining stability, especially valuable, right?
Yeah.
Um, what strategies do you use to maintain consistency in your trading results, even though you said it's the same, but let's say mentality wise?
Yeah, I mean, so I think I keep things very simple. I just trade the same sort of pairs. So I trade things like pound dollar, euro dollar. So they're very correlated,
Yeah,
most of the
yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah.
And then the DAX and the NASDAQ, again,
Mm-hmm.
very correlated pairs. So they move together. So I don't have to sort of change my strategy too much. I just keep the same sort of strategy, looking for the same sort of moves,
Yeah,
looking for them green pin bars. They're very, very strong confirmation candles
yeah.
at the end of a sell-off.
Mm-hmm.
If we can just keep our eye on them and just trade solely them setups, we give ourselves the highest probability chance of winning.
Uh-huh.
I think it's important not to try and chase the market or try and revenge trade, try and change things too much, because you can start getting lost with what you're trying to do.
Yeah, agreed.
And
Yeah,
you really can. There's so much information out there. There's so many different strategies, so many people telling you to do so many different things.
definitely.
You just need to find your own way with it and stick to something that's working.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's not going to work all the time, but if it worked before, it will work again. It
yeah,
might just be you just going through a bad period with it, and you just got to ride it out.
exactly. I mean, even in trading, we say history repeats itself. So if it works
Yeah,
before, it's gonna work again, definitely.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, have to
Uh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. How do you handle periods of drawdown and or less consistent performance? Let's say.
So about 4 months ago now, I managed to pass 100K one step challenge,
Amazing.
and it was
Nice.
amazing. And I thought I've really made it now, and I got some big payouts from it, and things were going well.
Very nice.
And I made one bad day and lost the account, and
Oh
I
wow.
felt so down about that, and
Yeah.
so like negative. Thought that I can't do this anymore. It's
Yeah.
not working out. What am I doing? And I had to take a real step back from the market, just take a few weeks off, which I've done a lot in my trading career. I've taken up to 6 months off and gone back to demo.
Yeah.
Just had a break from it, because sometimes when things are not working out, you can just keep going, and just
Exactly.
go in
Yeah.
a negative spiral.
Yeah.
So you're best just taking a step back, even if it's just a day out of the market,
Yeah.
reanalyze what you're doing, and then go back into it with a different mindset. And
Yeah.
that does tend to work, but you do need to take breaks. You need to just
Definitely, to be honest. Yeah.
slow everything down,
Agreed.
and then things hopefully turn around for you.
Yeah, I
But
mean, it makes you feel overwhelmed. And I mean, if you let the trading overtake your thinking and everything that is related to the mentality and psychology, you're just like, I think you can be doomed, to be honest. And it's very,
yeah,
very hard. Yeah,
it's very hard to come back from,
exactly.
especially if you lose like quite a large size account,
Yeah,
and you have to like get a new one and
yeah,
then pass that, and then that might not take a week, it might take a month.
or more.
Time, you're going through the ups and downs of the market, and you're
Yeah,
thinking, am I ever going to get this going good again?
yeah,
You do doubt yourself, but
definitely. Yeah,
I think you just need to take a break, really.
yeah,
Just take a little step back, don't overtrade. I think that's the main thing that destroys most people
yeah,
in
yeah,
trading, is overdoing it.
yeah.
Very hard to learn to stop doing that.
Definitely, yeah. I feel like we're taking a turn of psychological trading here, so let's just step back a bit and talk about fundamental and technical, and then we can talk about the psychology. So, I mean, since I started in the trade industry, I always find the debate between the technical and fundamental analysis is going
Hmm.
in the trading community all the time, and
Yeah.
many traders blend both approaches to gain like a comprehensive view of the markets, right?
Yeah.
And would you classify yourself as a technical or fundamental trader, and why?
Okay, so I am aware of obviously news events
Yeah.
and the overall sentiment of the market. I don't use any indicators whatsoever.
Uh huh.
I used to. I used to use them all. I used to be aware of them all, like the Fibonacci,
Yeah.
average true range, Ichikumu clouds, whatever they're called. There's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so many different indicators out
Yeah.
there, but it tends to like clog your chart up. They're all lagging indicators, I think, anyway. Really. A lot of people use them just for confirmation bias,
Yeah.
to sort of give them a bit of that's the right thing I should be doing.
Yeah.
The indicator tells me so. Where I use just price action for me, it's always worked for me. I just stick to price action. It's how the market is actually moving on the day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just trade that really. No indicators, but I am aware of obviously fundamentals in the market, which is the news events.
Otherwise, for example, can you give us an example of a trade where your preferred analysis method played a crucial role? Let's say that the technical was the most effective one to jump in that trade, or the fundamental one.
Yeah, I think
A
you see
recent one, perhaps.
a while ago, you see, we had this thing that bad news was good news. I don't even
Yeah.
remember that in the market. So like this bad data was coming out, but the stock market was rallying.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of conflicting information out there about what drives the market, and I think you can get a little bit lost with that. So, like I said, I just use price action, keep it very simple. Don't
Okay.
trade around big news events,
Yeah.
but be aware of them. Keep an eye on inflation data, the jobs numbers. the non-farm payrolls, things
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware of it, but don't sort of like pin everything on it. You know, like, oh, if these numbers come out, it's going to rally, or if it's bad news, it's going to like tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really pay too much attention to that
Yeah.
because I think that isn't what really drives the market.
Okay.
It's just the price action. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You said that you are very consistent with trading the same pairs and you don't change quite a lot.
Yeah.
But there is also diversification, right?
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
across different asset classes, it can also offer, both opportunities and challenges, right? And I
yeah.
mean, understanding how a trader adapts their strategy to each market can provide deep insights into their approach. You already put us a step closer to how you trade, and you're keeping it simple and a lot of stuff. But you said that you trade Euro USD and stuff, and lately I've seen that you kind of also putting the focus on the Bitcoin USD as well, a little bit of crypto.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with Bitcoin because Bitcoin is what actually lost me the 100K from
oh,
this account. Because the problem with Bitcoin is that it's got a bigger average range of movement
yeah,
per day
yeah,
than a lot of other asset classes. So I think the euro and the pound, they don't really move that much. You know, a big move for euro pound is like a 0.5% move in the day.
okay,
Whereas like the DAX or the NASDAQ, they can move up to 1%, even 2% in a day.
okay,
Whereas Bitcoin, I mean, I've seen it move 10% in a day.
yeah,
So
definitely,
if you're a newbie trader and you're trying to trade Bitcoin
yeah,
with a large account, it can go wrong very quickly,
yeah, yeah,
even for an
definitely,
experienced trader.
definitely, yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I used to trade different markets. I used to trade silver, gold, oil. I remember trading oil when it went to negative, when it went to like minus $20, $30 a barrel or something.
yeah,
So that moved massively then.
yeah,
And obviously through COVID, a lot of the markets moved a lot.
definitely, yeah,
So I think we'll find that tonight with the elections. A lot of the markets will move. Gold will be all over the place. So will oil. I'm sure Bitcoin will be moving.
yeah, definitely, 100%.
So yeah, I think just sticking to certain few pairs is good. But yeah, of course, like if there's some data that maybe comes out in the future that will affect oil,
Yeah,
I might even look into that. Just because of the situation in the world, it's affecting oil. It can be a good trading opportunity to trade oil.
yeah,
So I wouldn't say just stick to something all the time, but for me at the moment, I'm just sticking to like certain pairs. That I
yeah,
find
yeah, definitely, yeah, yeah. I mean, market volatility can be, both our friend and foe as well, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
how a trader responds to sudden market shifts often reveals the experience and the psychological resilience as well.
mm,
Yeah, and recent market and crypto volatility with Bitcoin reaching all-time highs recently.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like you said that Bitcoin wasn't really your friend, and it was a
No,
reason that you run the accounts as well.
yeah.
How did you approach these highly volatile moments in the market? Have you traded within like during those heights
Oh
of
yeah,
all time?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. The thing is with Bitcoin, it tends to go up and down very fast, like
Yeah,
as we've talked
as you said,
about.
10%. Yeah, a day.
Yeah, ten
It's
percent in a
massive.
day.
Yeah.
So basically, what I try and do is not hold on to positions for too long, which kind of can seem counterintuitive
Yeah.
because obviously to make a lot of money, you need to be in a position for a while.
Definitely.
But what I found is sometimes that you can get into a position, it can go in your favor and then come all the way back to break even,
Yeah.
or you stop loss or something.
Agreed.
So what I found the best idea for me is to just get into a market, get into a trade, stay with it until it's time to get out of the market, and
Okay.
then you're done. Get on with your day, sort of thing. I don't like to keep positions open for 2, 3, 4 hours overnight because I'd be constantly checking my phone and
Oh
like, oh,
God.
it's
Yeah.
gone down a bit, it's gone
I
up
know
a
the
bit.
hustle. Yeah.
Or you don't really want to be living like that, I don't
Yeah.
think. For me, anyway, it doesn't work like that for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people can do it, swing trading, but I find that I can scalp in and out of the market
Yeah.
maybe 2, 3 times a day, and then I'm done with it.
All
I
right.
like to just go and do something
Sounds
else.
convenient. Yeah. Sounds really nice.
Yeah, because
Amazing.
otherwise you can just be, I think, just stuck to it constantly. Stuck to your phone or stuck to your
Yeah. Yeah.
laptop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can be quite high anxiety, it can be quite
Yeah.
stressful.
Yeah.
So I just like to, like I say, get in with a tight stop loss, keep it very simple. If it doesn't work out, cut the trade straight away. Or if it's working in my favor, select a target not too far away
Yeah,
that I know it's going to get to quite easily.
exactly. Yeah. All
So
right.
that seems
Yeah, that was awesome to hear. Now let's move and talk a bit about our technical, and let's look at the charts with Martin. So as we can see, guys, here Martin is sharing his screen with us, and he will be walking us through a little bit of his charts and how they look like, how he approaches his positions, and how he sees the opportunity to come in a trade. So yeah, Martin, the floor is yours. Walk us through it.
so this is the Nasdaq.
Mhm.
Talked about it before. Moves very fast. So what I'm looking for in a market like this is a liquidity sweep.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for sell-offs, which is great. We've sold off here. If you notice, when we have a sell-off like this, there's a lot of sort of fake moves up. This is to attract buyers to get back in, because obviously when the market sells off, everyone's looking to get back in
Yeah.
on the long side. So we've had a few fake moves here. We've sort of created a little bit of a floor here, and then we've attracted buyers back in, and then a huge liquidity sweep. So it's taken out this structure. This is what I'm looking for, a move like this.
Yeah.
So we react to the reaction. So the reaction is the huge sell-off that's taking people out.
Yeah.
Then we react and try and get back in.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got to be very quick. The timing has to be perfect, because these markets, when they do this, they go back up very quickly.
Yeah.
So this is just basically in a nutshell, the strategy, and this works on all the markets that I trade.
Okay.
I,
So
I
it
look
works
for.
on Forex as well, on every pair you trade.
Yeah, it works on Forex as well. Bitcoin, not as much, because Bitcoin's got a little habit of doing this and then coming back down
Yeah.
and touching again and then going back up.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tricky to trade Bitcoin, and Bitcoin doesn't really follow any sort of fundamental analysis, really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's slightly correlated sometimes to the dollar, but yeah, most of the time it can move pretty randomly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, these sort of moves really are what I'm looking for. These liquidity sweeps, just
Mhm.
breaking a previous structure, because everybody's putting their stop losses below these lows.
Yeah.
So this is what the market's looking for, these stop losses.
Okay. All right. Looks awesome. And any recent trade you've made profit from? Probably you can show the community, the traders, how have you made it?
Yeah, so we had a pound trade. I don't think
Let's
pound's
take a
on
look
here.
at it. Yeah. It's there.
Where are we at? Pound. Okay, so this one, yeah, I was involved in this one down here.
Okay.
So obviously we looked as though we're going back up here. We made a low, a nice low. We made that pin bar, but you see this pin bar is a
Yes.
red pin bar, so it's
Yeah.
not a great one. I wouldn't have traded that one, but this one's perfect. This one is a pin bar there.
Yeah.
That's a great reversal pin bar. But again, we're not holding it for very long, because look what it's doing. It's
Yeah.
chopping around.
Yeah.
But this is the real move that we're looking for.
Isn't
That's
it?
the strategy. Yeah, very
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
have to mess around with trying to sell or breakouts or anything like that. Just looking for one particular move, and trying to stick with that.
Awesome. Yeah. Great. Now that we looked at your charts and you walked us through your strategies and how do you enter the trades, let's talk a bit about our psychological side of trading. So yeah, the psychological aspect of trading is, how to say this, like often separates successful traders from the rest. I think
I
this is
think it's
something
the
that
number one thing, to be honest.
exactly, yeah, I agree as well. And developing the mental resilience is a journey that every trader must undertake. And
Yeah,
12 years of trading, you definitely have been through it so many times.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How important the psychology, I mean, you already answered, but I'll ask you again. How important is the psychological aspect of trading to you? And how have you developed this side of your skill set?
Yeah, through a lot of hard work and a lot of self-reflection. I play a lot of golf, so I just want to make a little analogy to golf. So
Yeah.
when we're playing golf, sometimes we have a bad shot, and if we let that carry on to our next shot, we'll hit another bad one. And this is kind of what happens in trading. If
Yeah.
we say we take a huge loss or we lose our account, we immediately start thinking negative about ourselves.
Yeah.
We think that we can't do it, things aren't going well for us. So it's developing that mindset of, look, whatever's happened in the past is done. You can't change it. You just need to move forward. And that's the number one thing I think as a trader we need to do, is
Yeah.
We need to move quickly past them losses.
Yeah.
And again, this is why I keep my stop losses very small. I don't adjust my stop loss in the middle of a trade.
Okay.
Don't have wide stop losses. I keep the risk very small, because you could have 4 or 5 losers in a row, and you could blow your account up if if your risk is quite high.
Yeah.
So if you keep it quite small, you'll sort of like prevent that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of resilience needed to trade the
Yeah.
markets. A
I
lot.
mean, you mentioned before a very nice way to overcome challenges is when you, for example, you face a challenge and then you just stepped back, took a very long time just to self-reflect and went back to demo accounts, even though you're confident enough to trade in the market and everything. So
Yeah.
let's say that you, I mean, how have you ever like faced a significant psychological hurdles in trading, like beside this one, and how did you manage to overcome it? Is it the same? Like, do you just step
Yeah.
back and take the time to self-reflect and just go back to demo trading maybe again? Was it like
Well,
your
yeah, sorry. So the recent account that I've got now, the 25K funded account, that went into drawdown like massively about a month ago.
okay?
I just made a couple of bad sort of decisions.
Yeah,
That day ran into the next day. I made more mistakes, and the account was very close to being breached.
yeah,
So I had to say to myself, look, I can't lose now. If I make another losing trade, it's over basically.
yeah,
So I had to wait for that perfect time to make a trade, and it helped like strengthen my discipline. It's probably the best thing that happened, because it made me slow
very
down
nice. Yeah,
and really just say, look, you have to make a winning trade, and the next one has to be winning, and it has to keep going like that for a while
yeah,
to get this account back to break even, because I was that much in drawdown.
very well. Yeah,
Unfortunately, I did. I actually made some very good days. I made like, I think 100 and then 150, which, considering I had like maybe 20, 30 pounds worth of drawdown left, it was
yeah,
amazing. It was really good. And then
amazing.
I think last week I made 700, 800 in one day. And then it kind of like got back almost to break even.
Very
So
nice.
you
Very
just
nice to
have to
hear.
slow down with it. Just take a step back. I think breaks are very important in trading, and I think maybe not a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
They just trade through it. They have to be in the market every single day,
yeah, yeah.
and that doesn't work always. Especially when you've been trading 12 years, you can't trade every single day.
Definitely, yeah, yeah.
You're
I'm
gonna have
still
really
amazed
bad.
with 12 years fact, to be honest. It's like amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah, congratulations. Many more years coming, hopefully.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the other aspect of psychology. I mean, I know for a fact trading has a unique way of revealing one's true nature and true self.
Mhm.
And I mean, often exposing strengths and weaknesses that were previously unnoticed, probably. Am I
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
understanding this self-awareness is very crucial for growth, right?
Yeah.
And as you said, sometimes you just like step back and you take like some self-reflection just with yourself to understand stuff that probably went unnoticed and you didn't see it. So what has trading taught you about your own strengths and weaknesses?
Well, I think initially I was quite greedy when I started trading. I was like
Yeah,
most people who
I think
started. I
that's
want.
something very, yeah,
I
everyone can
mean,
relate to.
it's so easy to make money, but so
Quick
easy
money,
to
you said,
lose
yeah.
money. Yeah. So I think initially I was quite greedy. I wanted to be successful straight away.
Yeah,
That probably had the opposite effect, because I was obviously taking too much risk,
yeah,
just in stop losses, changing strategies, changing brokers.
yeah,
So I think I had to learn not to be greedy. I had to learn to be patient. I'm not
yeah,
a very patient person.
yeah,
I just want it straight away. And so I had to learn the patience. This is what took the most amount of time, I think.
yeah,
Patience in markets, learning to take a step back when things aren't working out,
yeah,
and not be greedy, And if things go wrong, don't just try and get it back the next day, or the same day. You
yeah,
really need to just say, look, it's a process that you need to take step by step, and
yeah.
patience.
Very
Patience
nice.
is number
Yeah.
one thing.
Agree. Yeah. I mean, we talked a little bit about how to stand up for fall downs. Let's talk about when you're already standing up and have that overconfidence. So you said how you handle the self doubt, but how about when you have the overconfidence in your trading activities? How do you handle that as well?
Yeah, I mean, that can also be just as bad as having a negative one, because things are going really well. You feel invincible. You think,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
I can make
Unstoppable.
£1 million,
Yeah.
but it
And
doesn't
then the market
obviously.
humbles you in a second.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it did, and it's shocking. It can just humble you, like you say, in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
So I think being too confident as well isn't a good thing. But be confident in yourself and what you're doing, but don't be like boastful, or you have to stay
Okay.
humble.
Yeah.
If you're trying to enter too many positions in the market, not only are you building up commission, but once you've passed your challenge, um, you have to win a lot. You can't have like 10 losers, like 3 winners or something.
Yeah.
You need to keep it very, very like calm in the market. You don't need to get sort of stressed out about things.
Yeah.
I would say trade a particular time that works for you. Just have some space away from your life and just say, look, I'm going to have an hour or 2 hours in the market. I'm just going to focus just on that. No distractions. I'm going to look for a setup. I'll write things down as well. I used to do it a lot. I used to write down chart patterns to look out for, or strategies.
I see that
Um,
you're looking aside. You have a notebook
yeah,
probably
I've got
next to
some
you.
notes I wrote down.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah, I think every day it's important to have that by the side of you, maybe some chart patterns to look at. If you
Yeah.
if you notice it on the chart, you say, oh look, this is the pattern I'm looking for. It's starting to develop. Yeah, just have an idea of what you're trying to do in the day and try and
Yeah.
plan it. Don't try and go in there just like, oh, see what happens.
Yeah.
Have a sort of plan in place that you want to do
Yeah.
for the particular day,
Very nice.
and stick to that plan.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of notes, pen and paper, do you think how important do you think is education and continuous learning in trading? And what resources would you recommend to people as well?
Oh, every day is a learning day. So I think you need to just develop your own strategy,
Yeah.
develop your own way of doing things, and don't try and listen maybe to too many other people or what they're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Because then if someone tells you something and it doesn't work out, it's easy to blame them, isn't it? Like, oh, they told me to do that and it didn't work out. So it's
Yeah.
their fault. You don't take responsibility for it. So you need to take responsibility for your own trades, your own actions. Yeah, and keep humble.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, that was it for our interview today, Martin. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation and coming in here and talking to us and to our community through their screens as well. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Mohammed.
Yeah. And to everyone watching, thank you very much for listening until this minute. And we'll see you in the next one. Happy trading.